Alright people, belated video here, but I want to give my take on it anyway. The Tony Bellew, David Haye rematch press conference. This is my reaction to it. Now, as I've said in previous videos, it's been clear to me, looking at David Haye's training footage and whatnot, in the build up to this fight being signed, that Haye has lost a lot of weight. He bulked up a lot, put a lot of muscle on for his comeback when he fought the likes of Mark Demori, Arnold Jurjai, Tony Bellew first time around, etc. If I was to interview David Haye, I would ask him why he felt the need to put all that extra muscle on in the first place. It was an interesting choice for him to do that. And now, what, he realizes that all that muscle don't work, so he's going to take it off? But what insecurity did he have that made him put the muscle on to begin with? What was he worried about? Was he worried about not being strong enough? Was he worried about maybe protecting injuries? Because if he's got a shoulder injury, maybe he felt if he bulked up muscle, it would help protect the injury. I don't know. But that's what I would ask David Haye if I were to interview him. And now he's with Ismail Salas and he's dropped all the weight. Was that David Haye's own decision to drop all the weight because he felt like it didn't work in the first Bellew fight? Or was that a recommendation of Ismail Salas? These are the things that I'm wondering in my mind. I want to see David Haye hit the pads. I want to see him do some boxing training now that he's back down at a lighter weight. For the Audley Harrison fight, the Vladimir Klitschko fight, and the Derek Chisora fight, David Haye was 210 pounds, according to BoxRec. So the same weight for all of them. He looks a lot closer to that weight than the 224 or 225 pounds that he was for his last 3 fights. So he's, in English money, lost a stone, or put on a stone since the Chisora fight in muscle, mainly muscle. And now it looks like he's lost that stone again, or close to it anyways. Again, he certainly looks closer to 210 than 224 now. This is last chance saloon for David Haye. He knows it. So I guess he's going back to the weight that he was when he was most effective. Will that be sufficient to protect those injuries if he's protecting injuries? Again, it goes back to the question, why did he want to put the weight on in the first place? Will he feel subconsciously nervous about being that kind of weight again and feel like he's not going to be strong enough or whatever? You know, hopefully I'm making sense here, people, and you can understand the line of inquiry I'm going down in my mind. Tony Bellew, on the other hand, just has to do the same thing he did in the first fight. I don't really see how Tony Bellew can fight any different. If he comes forward and attacks David Haye, he's going to walk into something. So he just has to box in the back foot, frustrate David Haye, make him miss, wait for his opportunities. The thing that alarmed me about the first fight so much was how anxious David Haye looked. And clearly, he was carrying an injury into the fight because that's why he was so anxious, in my opinion. And I'd also heard, I don't know how true it is, that he hadn't sparred for several weeks leading up to the fight. He'd had some sparring, but he'd had to stop sparring early, perhaps because of some type of injury. So, yeah, he just looked very anxious early on, swinging for the fences, not like the David Haye that we know. He's going to need to be a lot more composed, calm, relaxed, and happy against Tony Bellew. Now, I saw an interview with David Haye following the press conference where he said that he's now got some of that Cuban flavor in his style, that Ismail Salas has been taking him back to basics and, you know, teaching him things that he hasn't been taught in a long time. And now he says these things are drilled into him, or by the time the fight rolls around, these things will be drilled into him and they'll be second nature to him. I'm skeptical. As the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And at the age of 37, which David Haye will be, I think, in a couple of days, I don't think in one training camp you're going to turn this guy's style around and teach him things that he hasn't been doing before. No. His style was different under Shane McGuigan, but it was worse. It wasn't different in a good way. It was different in a way where he was more plodding. His coordination was off. His stance was different. With Ismail Salas now, how do they really improve him? How does Salas improve this guy? I don't think he can. I don't think David Haye is going to bring anything new to the table at all. I could be wrong. It would be a revelation to me if he did bring something new to the table, but I can't see it. I think we're going to get a version of David Haye which is more similar to the one that fought Chisora, but still inferior to that version. I don't think we're ever going to see the best of David Haye ever again. My opinion. Could be wrong. We'll find out in due course. But those are my impressions. Tony Bellew just seemed himself, confident, defiant. He's the underdog again, apparently, with the bookies, but I didn't bother him first time around, and I'm sure it won't bother him this time around. So yeah, he just has to do the same as he did last time. And David Haye has to be a lot more composed. You know, the thing about Haye, Haye's got much longer arms than Bellew. So why is he so anxious swinging for the fences in that first fight? I don't know. Why is he not just touching Bellew with the jab, using his reach advantage, and being comfortable doing that? Will he do that this fight? I hope he does that for his sake. Because if he don't do that, Bellew's going to take advantage and he's going to win the fight. Potentially, at least. So, yeah, I think Haye needs to just relax, use his long range, you know, use that long reach, use his jab, take it easy. And as I keep repeating, Bellew just needs to do the same as first time. So, yeah, without going round in circles, let me end the video right here. Drop your comments in the comment section below. What were your impressions of the press conference? Eddie Hearn said that he thought David Haye looked nervous in the face-off. I mean, I don't know. I didn't necessarily notice that, but maybe it's something you had to be present in person there to be able to perceive. Who knows? I talk about fighters' mentalities a lot and what it takes mentally to make it at the top. And David Haye is actually a good example of somebody that has the right mentality to make it at the top. I think David Haye's body is breaking down now and Father Time is catching up with him. But in terms of his mental strength and his self-belief, that's the kind of thing you need to have. You don't see David Haye suffering losses and crying like a baby afterwards. And, you know, you don't see that. David Haye lost and he was very, you know, matter of fact about it. And believe you me, them losses hurt David Haye. The guy's got a monumental ego. But he's very mentally strong. Very mentally strong, David Haye. So if anyone can have an Indian summer in their career, if anyone has a strong enough mind to be able to do it, it's somebody like Haye. Let's see what happens here, people. Let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out.